This is here the updated Cupra Formentor. It has become a very popular compact SUV or compact crossover. Why is that? And what are the update changes? We're also going to drive here the new VZ version, 333 horsepower and torque split at the rear axle. This is going to be really sporty and interesting. Everything you need to know about this vehicle here with Thomas Nadegefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the front, which doesn't have a typical single frame open grille anymore or something. It's more closed on the one hand, but then of course there are cooling openings and more horizontal stress, and this kind of little bit overlapping Sharknose front. Enceladus gray is this vehicle color, which is first of all a matte color and also has this almost purple nuance in it. Very interesting one, isn't it? Then this copper Cupra logo right here, and we also have a new light signature, and to me it always reminds me of Zelda, you know, the Triforce here in this 1, 2, 3 dot styling. Pretty interesting, and of course pretty cool also when you use the turning indicators, and you have a very extensive light signature also when you open and close the vehicle. Length 4,45 meters or 175 inches. You would start with 18-inch wheels, and then optional or standard for the VZ versions, the more powerful versions, 19-inch wheels in different stylings. Here once again this copper styling, pretty cool, and also with these copper brake calipers. That looks amazing, doesn't it? And then here also in this gray shiny style, the wheel cladding around. And then you can see this very strong hip area in this crossover styling right here. The DCC, dynamic chassis control, this adaptive suspension comes standard for the VZ models. Otherwise it's an option, and they try to limit the package a little bit, that it's not too complicated to configure it. In comparison, of course, there are still enough options left, soon more to the pricing. In the rear also a complete rework here in the top. The light signature goes then here through to the middle logo, which is also now illuminated, and that looks also pretty cool, doesn't it? Then the VZ badge is right here, once again for the more powerful versions. Then the really striking contrasting diffuser area in the lower part, and here these are even here in this version the Akrapovic exhaust, giving us a little bit more exhaust note. But there's also a sound actuator on the inside for all the VZ version. I'm going to show you later that actually makes a huge difference. Since we want to check out the engine sound right now, something more on top. So they have this emotional startup function here. So when you hold the start engine or stop engine button first for like 1.5 seconds, and then press the brake, so the other way around basically, then you have like emotional plop startup sound. Let's listen to that. With the engines, let's start slowly. You start with a 2-liter TDI as entry-level engine. Then you have a 1.5 TSI turbo petrol engine. If you want to keep it rather low in the price and maybe take one of the good leasing offers, they really went full way, all the way in with good leasing offers recently actually. Big upgrade is the plug-in hybrid. It is based on the 1.5 TSI. That one now with 20 kilowatt hours net from the battery. That means you can do some 80 kilometers or 50 miles of pure electric range with it. And of course also good depending on the country for taxation reasons, for example. So this is like the most significant update actually. And then on the pure petrol side, more to the performance side. First of all, the stronger plug-in hybrid horsepower version is already a VZ version, as well as the 2-liter TSI versions, either with 265 horsepower front-wheel drive, or here 333 horsepower all-wheel drive, and also at the rear with a torque split that you can send more torque to the curved outer wheel than at the rear axle, and kind of like letting go of that front-wheel drive characteristic. Very interesting indeed, and we take a look if it works. 4.8 seconds is the acceleration figure, by the way, and so far a VZ5 version with the 5-cylinder that they had before is not planned. It was also really small in numbers, very niche, and of course way too expensive for the car in general. So I'm at this moment pretty certain that they will stick with this version here as the very strongest one. Vehicle key in a high gloss black. Of course you get them without the event stickers. Yeah, Cupra badge. It's not my favorite key, let's take it that way. And door closing sound is okay, nothing special. Oh, the rear one is better, definitely. Then inside of the doors, here in the front structure and also soft touch. Also soft touch here with the leatherette. And what I really like, they have this gray scheme, for example, that you don't have only black, for example. However, no covering of the inside of the doors or something. Then Sennheiser sound system. This is new actually. 12 speakers, or to be very precise, because I did some investigation on that. Because on some, like price, it said like 11 speakers, then they said 12 speakers, and I was like, is it 11 or 12 now? Well, it is 11 speakers plus subwoofer. And if you're in the audiophile industry, maybe you can tell me, is a subwoofer officially a speaker? Do you say 11 speakers plus subwoofer, or is that 12 speakers? Technically, I would say it's 12 speakers because the subwoofer also is a speaker. I would say this, so, but
maybe like 4 or 5 door thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a discussion like, is this a 5 door or is it a 4 door? You can argue pro and con. Yeah. Let's continue, and maybe you get some comments about this. Interior, you have the steering wheel with these copper stitching on the inside. Then the Cupra button. This is really important because you can click through the driving modes, and also for the cruise control, real buttons, no hashtag capacitive BS. I really like that. Then the seats, different ones are available. These are the optional cup bucket seats with fabric, some microfiber accentuations. The seat itself is animal free, and they also use some recycling. No alternatives available yet for the steering wheel. However, as base, you would also get a normal sport seat with head restraints integrated with microfiber, or the base seat, not available for the VZ versions, is a pure fabric seat. The VZ already starts with the mid-trim sports seat, and then this one optional. And here you get held tight a little bit more, especially in the shoulder area, but I feel that the normal sport seat is a little bit softer. Then here, 189, 602, still some headroom left. Cockpit overview with some news, soon more to that. First of all, here the dashboard has this soft touch with the copper control stitches, and I really like here this decoy element. It has also a structure, and you can really hear it, how it feels. Then glove box, dampened somewhat as well, and then there's like a special secret cubby hole inside the glove box right there, and good closing sound. Middle console, I like it once again that they have gray as a color scheme, not only plain black here, for example. Then here, this is a DSG shifting lever, dual clutch transmission. In the front, you have inductive charging pad, and it also has some cooling holes, 2 USB-C chargers. And then here, cup holders, they are not adaptive, but they have 2 different sizes. And then this one is also dampened here for your elbow. That's fine actually, and then you can store some other clutter there. More 2 USB-C chargers are in the rear, by the way. And then this one here is a panoramic roof, and first of all, there's a shade available you can apply like this, both with these doubtful sliders though, and you can really open that completely to leave some real air in. That has also become rare on the market, and yeah, that works very, very well. News here as for the infotainment size, now always 13-inch, bigger screen overall, and also these sliders here for the temperature in the lower part, they are now illuminated at night, that you at least see them in the darkness. Steering wheel has a very good size, also shifting pedals here, and as I said, I like it that I can straightforward control it with individual buttons. And this is your driver POV for today here, pretty nice here with the steering wheel size, and then the infotainment system. It is definitely quicker than before. So just the responsiveness you can see right here. Most of the time probably you would use Google Maps or Apple CarPlay. Wireless or wired is both available. So it's a significant update, definitely. We have to see how it holds on over time. They had a lot of software issues, of course, in the recent years, but this looks definitely more promising now. And the sound of the Sennheiser system, actually quite nice. It's really bass intensive, I have to say. Then you can take a look at the equalizer, and this is the club setting. So probably I would, although I love, like electronic music and stuff, maybe even not use the club setting, but the normal music setting that is a little bit less bass intensive. Leah is showing you 2 more features. First of all, here for the ambient lighting, you can also change the colors, but better to see, of course, in tunnel or when it's dark. And interesting also here with the key fob, it directly fits here in this specific hole on the left side. Actually, on both way around, if you turn it around, also fits. So yeah, however you like it. Rear seats, and here the rear doors. This is all hard-packed material then throughout the door. And then here you can see these cup bucket seats. They have carbon fiber at the back part, and also this recess right here. So this is actually quite good. As for the rear legroom, although this recess begins way lower. I'm sitting here as a driver in this position, but you see for 4 tall adults, no problem. Also headroom wise, no problem at all, even with the panoramic roof. 2 USB-C chargers and also this temperature unit here in the rear when the engine is running. Can I also sit here on the 5th seat? If I get arranged here with my legs, yeah, more or less for short journeys, for example. Isofix then at the outside seats each, and they are also hidden here in a way. Cup holders, all open, not adapted, and then you can also apply this ski hatch here to load through the trunk. And can we adjust something here? No, that's actually just for you fold it or you don't. The trunk, 450 liters, unless you have the 3-dimensional camera view. Then there's an additional CPU unit which reduces it to 420 liters. Interesting, isn't it? It's also the case then here, but still well usable here. Vertical cabin trolley, no problem. Backpack, and the width, see here, is about 1 meter or 40 inches, and the normal length is some 83 centimeters or 32 inches. And the total length to the seats, as we are driving for 2/3, is about 160 in meters or 62 inches. Underneath here, we have some more space, unless you have the subwoofer right here from the Sennheiser sound system. Then the spare tire will get a little bit tricky. And you can see here also this the electric hatch. Does it actually have a good child safety? Yeah, that's fine from the sensor. Launch control. Plop. Woo! 90 kilometers an hour. That was 0 to 90. Nice, 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 nice. Woo! And here I also have now the torque vectoring at the rear axle, which helps me especially in these corners, because then I have more power on the outside wheel. Really cool. And the sound actuator then here, yeah, it feels so good, and the handling is really super agile. I love that. However, what's really interesting here in the Cupra mode, that sound actuator is even more accentuated. So in the drift mode, it's drawn back. Probably it would be like maybe too annoying then in the drifting mode or something. Of course, the Cupra mode is then better for public roads because it leaves more ESC in, and the handling of the car is really superb. So you have a very good feeling of the steering wheel. Look at that here now when I go in its 90-degree corner. Really beautiful how the steering wheel follows the corner, the degree angle. It feels very compact, very light indeed. This one here then also a version without any additional battery system or something, and that is of course good because it is in comparison real lightweight. Oh, this Akrapovic exhaust. It's very beautiful, right? Sometimes it gives you the crackles and pops. Nice, very cool. So dynamic wise, I have to say, yeah, really awesome. And you don't feel that it would be like an SUV crossover or something. It really gives you these typical hot hatch vibes. And yeah, this 333 horsepower version here. Do I miss the 5-cylinder here? I mean, driving fun wise, not. Of course, the 5-cylinder is always something different sound wise, because there you have that true sound from that 5-cylinder, no doubt about that. But they did so much for the driving fun, especially with the torque vectoring, that doesn't feel like a front-wheel driven vehicle or something. I mean, yes, you have all-wheel drive, but due to this torque vectoring here, this front-wheel bias, you know, is nothing you would feel on a negative side or something. Plop. Woo! So that was like 20 to 100 kilometers. Really nice acceleration, all-wheel drive here, and we have the new top performance version. This one here is 333 horsepower, and you also hear it. It has this sound actuator, 2-liter 4-cylinder TSI. Wow, this in this Cupra mode here with the sound actuator, it's like, yeah, that is. It really sounds like something even bigger for sure. And with this all-wheel drive, you also get the traction on the ground from that acceleration. It's a big difference, by the way, here when you pick the comfort mode. Now you can switch to the map. Like when you want to switch it through in the infotainment system, here they have made it a little bit complicated, because here you have to go into drive profile and then pick the individual stuff. But the good thing is you can change here on the steering wheel, and you can do that, off-road drift, Drift is even possible because this one here has torque vectoring. Here, comfort, then you click it through, performance. Cupra is the sportiest mode. Individual, for example, you can also individualize yourself. Here, for example, set the DCC, the adaptive suspension, all the way to the soft mode, or maybe then the steering to the sporty setting. That is, for example, possible. That is also one of my likable settings. And what's also interesting, when you are actually, for example, in the for comfort mode, don't want to click things through, press and hold the button, and it always jumps to the Cupra mode. I can show it to you again. Here, comfort, and I would click it through, but here, press and hold, always hops to the Cupra mode. I think it's well done, so I don't need to finger around in the infotainment system. I can directly access the Cupra mode, and that's also a cool thing that, you know, when you want to drive a little bit sportier, that's it. Biggest difference is then also the sound actuator, because just to get a little bit more performance, you can always also use the shifting pedals. So you individually shift down yourself, and then you ride in the RPMs. So you can also do that. Even here, when you are in the comfort mode, you can also just here shift down, and it's just like such a big difference in the sound actuator mode. I mean, here in comfort mode, when you accelerate, you almost hear nothing. In the Cupra mode, yeah, it really sounds like a completely different vehicle. I mean, when you are on the motorway for a longer period of time, probably that's even a little bit too much then, maybe, I don't know, but that's totally up to you. You can decide that, so I think it's fine. Drift mode, as I said, this is relevant on non-public roads, because then you can make most use of this torque vectoring here in the rear. It's like, usually there's power on the front wheels, then maximum 50% is sent to the rear wheels, and then with this torque vectoring system you get here in the 333 horsepower version, the top VZ version, it also distributes on the rear axle, you know, so the curved outer wheel can get more torque than the curved inner wheel, and then you can get out of the corners even better. Take a look here at the motorway driving. So for calmness and comfort, you would go to the comfort mode. Then it's also okay from the noise volume here on the inside. And here you can still set cruise control on the steering wheel, easily done. Real buttons still, I really like that you have real buttons to control everything. That's easily done. And you also have an active lane keeping assist. Here, for example, the car is steering for us. See here, very smoothly done. Of course, here in this facelift, they have also updated the assistance systems, and that works very well, so pretty smooth. Yeah, and I mean, the Formentor always gives you like a little spice, something special. Also a little bit higher crossover style if you compare it directly to the Cupra Leon. When they stand next to each other, you have to look closely which one is which one. The Formentor a little bit longer from the over in comparison to the hatch. Then again, the Estate is a little bit longer than the Formentor. So it sits between the Cupra Leon and the Leon Sports Tourer. I would describe it in that way. And you don't have this really high sitting SUV feeling, but something in, I would say, between SUV and crossover. Let's take it that way. And when you set the mirrors, by the way, it's always nice to set them in a way that you still see something from the chassis, that you can see these very strong shoulders when you look to the back, to the side mirror there. That's really nice. I got a nice steering feel as well. And yeah, as I said, you can also individualize that yourself in the Cupra mode, or when you have it set in the individual mode, it also gives some more feedback. But it's really precise, it's progressive as well. Here, when you have a VZ version, you have a lot of standard features as well. 19-inch wheels, then you have like this progressive steering. Here, the dynamic chassis control, the adaptive suspension, it's doing a great job. So although we have the 19-inch wheels, we have actually good comfort, so don't have like strong feeling in the lower back and the lumbar area or something, just because the wheels are a little bit larger. So that's actually fine. So I'm really a fan of the DCC. You should always go for that one. Here they actually combine it with the Matrix LED and the light show animation and so on. Yeah, these packaging or trim combinations are sometimes a little bit strange. That's what manufacturers do. So I'm feeling actually quite good here on the motorway. Seating wise, we have these special cup bucket seats here with fabric on the inside. That's good that it doesn't get as hot as the animal skin surface, for example. If you ask me to go between the normal, like there's like the base seat fabric only, then there's the sports with the integrated head restraint already, and then there's this cup bucket seat. It's a really tough question, so it depends on the individual body posture. Here, these ones, they are holding you a little bit tighter in the shoulder area. If you race a lot, that might make sense for you. Then again, they are a little bit stiffer from the bolstering, which they are supposed to be actually. So probably for the best comfort, I think I would get the normal sports seats with the microfiber. I think they're a little bit better in comfort, but it depends. Maybe if you can test it at the dealer, but from my first gut feeling, I would probably stick with the normal sports seats, and that's it. Although these here, they look really amazing, definitely. Fuel economy or consumption or mileage, at least some minimum 7 liters on 100 kilometers, so 34 mpg US, 41 mpg UK. If you do 100, 120 kilometers an hour motorway, that's always with this engine, and also when you have a lot of horsepower, all-wheel drive, and so on and so on. Of course, when you use it in a more performance way, then the consumption is even worse. Pricing, pretty interesting. So an entry price, with a very, very low engine and lower trim and so on, starts already around 40,000 euros in Germany or 35,000 pounds in the UK. But then if you go higher spec, bigger engine, some packages inside, you can easily also crack this 50 to 60,000 area and so on. You have to think about it. Comparing to a true sports car is still quite a good deal, but of course it's not a cheap car at all, from the list price at least. Even more interesting with this one is, I've been looking at the market the past years, they really often have good leasing offers, where this one in leasing was even cheaper than some cars that were, actually in a different price region. So very interesting. And sometimes for the Cupra Formentor, you got a better leasing rate than, for example, for a Volkswagen T-Roc or for a Golf or something. And that made it also popular. Why is that? I'm not even sure if some of these leasing offers were sustainable for them. I think they really want to push the car on the market because they say, hey, this is our first own halo car, and we want to show what it's capable of. We want to have it visible on the road. So as long as they make these offers, it's even more attractive, definitely. And this 333 horsepower version will of course be the niche top version. More on the road you will see, for example, the 1.5 liter TSI with 150 horsepower. If at some point your desired engine is not available yet in the configurator, don't wonder. Until the end of 2024, they want to have all the engine versions released here also in this updated trim. What do you think about the Cupra Formentor? Tell me in the comments. And of course, we have more Cupra content here for you.